Morning, Israel. That would be Bawakwa Tawab. You know, Sunday morning, getting right into it. Fairly quick video. Like I said, most high willing, I'm gonna start to go live. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle, elder bishop, the great millstone. My salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect. Soon to be the elect, most high will to the hopeful elect. Shalom and blessings. This is a little bit disturbing. It can be for some. Others may take it, for what it is. And, this is fair use and not for monetary gain. Where is it? I was just... Okay, and it's an ex-boyfriend. The camera catches ex-boyfriend outside her home after the breakup, and I'm gonna play a little of it. I'm gonna play it. I didn't play this part at the beginning. All right, and now if that was anybody's mother or sister, they'd be greatly disturbed. But it also depends on how deep the circumstances is. Like, if your sisters is known to just have boyfriends like this, and you didn't been in harm's way before, and she didn't got back with the dude. So I mean, women, of course, they'll take it for face value. This woman had a comment saying, "Ladies, get a firearm and head to the range. Carry mace. Always check your surroundings before heading home, before exiting your vehicle. Ensure your conduct." And really, women are not going to listen to this. They're comfortable in this place, and they still have that state of mind to where they're untouchable and nothing's going to happen to them. And this is, if you ask me, this is, as far as viral and on the news, this is a rare case. Now, it might be happening. There's plenty of couples that have gone this far and got back together. The woman gets back with the man even after this. Now, you see that she was calling him baby while he was hitting her like that. and she didn't scream nothing out about God and, you know, this is evil and God's gonna, repay you for this. And that didn't mean he was gonna stop, but it's better to say those things than to just say, baby, quit hitting me, and some women have a psychological problem, like they like abuse. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know what they call it, but they have done studies where women, they like abuse because that's part of the attention, that they want. And you know how women, they like thugs, they like gangsters, you know, they like bad boys, the nice guys. They don't get any. They too, they call them soft boys or whatever. So it's a lot of layers to these kind of incidents, man, and women don't understand that, or they just take it like, yeah, he's abusing this woman. She might have called the cops on him like 1,000 times. She might have, got in his face and called her brothers on him, her uncle on him, probably threatened to kill him before. Who knows the backstory of this stuff? It's almost like that Chris Brown and Rihanna thing. They were saying, oh, he abused Rihanna. She was in the news, showing her face beat up. But Rihanna, she says she's a bad girl. She's a rude girl. She had a whole song called Rude Girl. She's a bad girl, a good girl turned bad. The Umbrella song, I mean, she lives that kind of life. She's, I think, from Barbados, and she's a bad girl. Like, she's the type to get up in your face and scratch it, if she assumes something, she'll immediately attack you. So what do you do with those kind of women? You're not supposed to be a lion in your house. But what do you do with those kind of women? So, because every woman is not innocent, and in most of the case, they're like the bad girl, Rihanna. They're like the woman that gets up in your face, call the cops on you at just a simple argument, you know. It's, you don't know the backstory in any of this. And that's what people are prone to do in America. They just go off, rip off the bat without doing no research, without studying, really finding out what's going on behind these events, these incidents, And, you have to use your mind, because I told a woman, like, well, you got to make better choices, who you dwell with, who you surround yourself with, basically. She was like, well, I'm not here to argue or debate with you, sir. And because you can't exclude that factor. Like, you have to include what's going on, what kind of situation is this. I think I did another video, it was a while back, but this woman, she kept calling the cops on the man. She kind of put restraining order. Now, let's say the woman leaves the man and say, well, this is I'm tired of this. I'm moving out, and she's getting with it, because they usually move to another guy. They don't usually just move out, and, rarely do they move out and stay with their sister, their mother, or by themselves. They're usually moving on with another dude. So the dude is like, nah, hell nah. This not over. What the fuck? You choosing him over me? Yeah, he treats me better and all that. And then the man comes get him. It comes after, whatever, and tries to take out or takes out. But that's what happened to this last story I did a while ago. And she said his thing is they recorded it on Somehow on a 911 call, she called 911. She had before, like I said, she put a restraining order against him. She had called 911 before. And now this time, same 911 again, and it recorded just like last time. Her saying that, her getting beat up. And while she was getting beat up, the dude was saying, "You can't call the cops now, can you? You can't call the cops now." So, you know, and then the mother was screaming when she found her daughter I think she found her daughter in the bathtub, bloody and all that. And she screamed and she said, I think the bathtub water was running and it was running over and it flooded, the bathroom and some of the, that area of the house. And her mother screamed out, and nobody likes to hear the scream of a woman or anybody in pain. It's devastating to hear. And she screamed out, and he said he would do it, and he did it, because they thought he was bullshitting. And a lot of cases, these women be talking shit for years and years, thinking the man is just bullshitting because he doesn't really use his strength against her. And men can't say they're gonna call their brothers, their uncles on a woman. They can't threaten a woman like that. But these incidents happen to where they put their hands on a woman. But a lot of cases, it's not so. It's not what people think it is. Some just developed into this, because nobody gets with a person like this. Like if you hear somebody beating that's known to beat on somebody, a woman wouldn't get with a dude like that. So he had to be decent enough for her to get with and to develop a relationship with. And sometimes they have children together, these type of couples. So what really goes on? What really happened? Going back, she probably committed adultery. He probably knew about it. She probably didn't. Because he's not gonna say it while he's beating. Like, yeah, sometimes you do. You express yourself while you in that mode, but many cases not. So, but she could have committed adultery. Now, in the scriptures, adultery is a sin worthy to death. But we can't exercise that. It's not expedient, especially in this time, and there's a lot of factors to consider when dealing with something like this. But this is not the craziest thing in the world. This is not the most heinous crime in the world. She's just getting beat up. A lot of women, do this worse than a man. They stab a woman, they shoot a woman, they beat they jump a woman, beat her to she can't be recognized. So this is not they just out there doing this shit. A lot of men are simps these days. A lot of men are simps. But, with that comment that this woman left, even if they carried a firearm or carried mace, that still wouldn't help. Because men, the mind is deceitful and it's wicked, like it says in the scriptures, Jeremiah 17:9, I think. So he could just go off on you when you just least expect it. You're not going to be ready for that. You're not going to be carrying mace for that. You're not going to be near a firearm when you at the table and y'all talking and having fun. He just like, you know what? Fuck you, bitch. And then, because, people set up people these days. They don't just, it's schemes and plots these days. So if a man want to get a woman, he can. But like I said, if it was anybody's mother, daughter, sister, they'd be mad as hell, and they pretty sure they'll probably try to take the dude out if they hadn't locked him up. So it could be a touchy subject, man. And It could be extreme. In other cases, it could be just like, you know, because she gonna go back and tell her mother, tell her sister, you know what? These days they probably gonna say, yeah, you know what he do? He hit you? Nah, he's tripping. You need to leave him. They're not gonna search the dude to kill him and take him out. A man would about his daughter or his mother, or whatever, enraged in the spirit of the moment. But usually, when it's a woman that hear about the news, they be like, "You need to just leave him," you know, because of course wounds heal, and you know, she's a pretty woman. I mean, whatever the case is, but you know, the wounds will disappear and all that. Sometimes it leaves scars, but that's what the Most High said. He kills, he makes alive, he wounds, and he heals. He does all those things. So this developed into this thing for a reason, but in the scriptures it also says, no, this one, Sirach and Apocrypha, Sirach 26 and 23, also known as Ecclesiasticus. It says, a wicked woman, and I'll close out after this, is given as a portion to a wicked man. But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord, man. So if she feared the Lord, and if she was a godly woman, she'd be with a good man that feared the Lord. But, you know, regardless of her so-called innocence in this, and it says nobody's, whoever perished being innocent, she's not innocent. And that's what women believe, that every woman that gets beat, hit, or taken advantage of is innocent, and that's not the case. You know, and like I said, she was calling him baby all the time when he was beating her. Why was she doing that? You know, women's wives say, well, she was just saying that to get him off of her. Nah, it's some, and it's usually not labeled psychological, because, you know, a lot of black women know what they're doing. You know, by the time they 10 or 11, they be talking shit to their parents, and they be talking shit to boys and all that, and rolling their eyes and rolling their neck and all that. By the time they like 9 to 10 years old, maybe even earlier. But I'm saying, you know, when you get to this age, and they look like they young, but they look like at least about 25 or something like that, 25 to 30. Or maybe even, you know, 30, early 30s or something. But, you know, you never know what happened. You know, he probably just found out that she slept with his best friend, or slept with his brother, or whatever, or had a threesome, whatever. You know what Jake is into today. And I'm not saying that he's a good guy. It says, I just read that scripture, a wicked woman is given to a portion of a wicked man. I'm just saying accountability. It has to be there with you women. Accountability has to be there. You probably like, what? I'm doing something wrong. You know? And it's a lot of psychological. If you're mentally ill or disabled, you got to get help. Because you could, you know, women could try to defend her and say, well, maybe, you know, she got problems and she need help, and she depends on him, and he you know, he deceives her. He's like, I'm sorry, and I never hit you again. I was just tripping, and she forgives him because she got a good heart. You know, but he beats her again. Like, you know, she needs help. He needs help. She needs help, and a lot of women, they try to fix shit all the time, man. They try to make them, you know, fix a man. You know, even when a man's already doing what he's supposed to do as a man, I'm talking about a fairly good man. He works 9 to 5. He has, you know, he take care of his business, pay bills. He loves his children. He loves the wife. She'll still try to fix him, like something's wrong with him. I'm like, yeah, you don't spend enough time with me. You gotta spend more time with me, more time with your children. You're not, you know, you're not doing it right. So you can't please these women no matter what, man. No matter if you're a rich guy, or no matter if you're a good guy, no matter if you're a pimp can't even, you know, You know, he can't even control his hoes and shit because they talking to other pimps and all that. I'm just saying, it sounds dirty and extreme, but those are the measures sometimes that you got to consider, like, what is really going on? What's the real problem? And the real problem is they're not women of the Lord. They're not godly women. You know, they're not doing the commandments and following their husband and doing what I'm not saying in this case. This is not a man of God because he wouldn't be doing this. Now I'm saying, if you follow the instructions of the Most High and you're under the Most High's tent, so to speak, you're dealing with a true man of the Most High. And he lash out one time at you and be like, you know what, I apologize, but, we got to do better. I got to do better. You got to do better. And he never hits you again, you can't hold that against him. And I could speak as a man on that part. But, you can't get all in a man's face and talking about and calling a man a bitch and all that. Most High get your ass for, especially a prophet. So you women, a lot of you women are out of pocket. And this woman just as well could have been out of pocket. And he just snapped. And they got videos like that where a woman keeps on pushing the man. He's like, go on with that shit. No, I want to know this and that. You better tell me, fuck, who is this bitch? You a bitch, all that shit. He's like, look, I told you, leave me alone. Quit fucking with me. And then he snaps. And then that's when the pictures start getting taken and putting on news and, cameras started rolling. Nah, we need that backstory. Anyway, to the next video, hope is edifying. Shalom.